I was editing some programs, you know. And when I left, I went home, then it started raining at my area.
And you were like, thank God I'm home.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah, you did. I enjoyed it too because it's been so hot. So like I said, August is showing that it is August now. So before we give you a rundown of what we have for you today, let's just go straight to our motivational quote. And then after that, we'll give you a rundown of what we have for you today. But Balde, are you not seeing me today?
No, I mean,
Don't I look like a flight attendant
come on.
or something?
I wanted to comment. I wanted to say, Jennifer, I love that. Is it a tie?
No, it's a scarf. And I'm not like a scarf kind of person, but I just decided to
it's
go out of my
beautiful.
comfort zone today and give it a try. How do I look?
It's reminding me those flight attendants. I mean, it's beautiful.
It is?
It's nice.
All right. Thank you so much. So what do we have today on our motivational quote?
Well, Jennifer, you know, starting our day with a motivational quote, at least we'll do something for you in your daily life. I mean, it will give you a very positive day. You need the right people with you, not the best people.
All right.
Jennifer, it can be a very short one, but it involves a lot.
Yeah. So this particular quote is by Jack Ma, and it says, "You need the right people with you. You need the right people with you, not the best people." So what does this tell you?
Well, it involves a lot. I mean, the right people in your life will give you the best and the better opportunities. The right people in your life will guide you. You understand? Not the best people.
Exactly.
You understand? The best people will always try to be the best. You understand? But the right people will guide you to become the best person.
Yeah, I think we're on the same page, you know. Or if you have a team or if you're doing a business, you can actually have the best people in your team when you have a particular business, you know. I'm talking about business because we know how rich, how wealthy Jack Ma is, you know. He's even contributed when it comes to this COVAX facility and all of that throughout the COVID-19, you know. So taking a look at this, if you have a business, for instance, and you have the best people in your team, they might not be the right people for you just because they're the best people.
Absolutely.
Because they're the best people, they might not have the technical know-how as to the things that you want. But the right people for the right job will tend to guide you, and at some point might not be selfish, like you said. Best people sometimes might be looking out for themselves before looking out for the things that you want. But when you have the right people, right means honesty, right means truth. You know, these are the people who are going to guide your business or guide a policy or guide anything that you're working on.
Let's take a good example. Let's look at the Q group. I mean, it's not about the best people. It's about the right people. The CEO always talks about this. I mean, he is proud of his managers all the time because they are the right people, not the best people. The best people can come and go, you understand, because they'll tend to believe that, I mean, they are the best people. I'm the best. Without me, they cannot do it.
Exactly.
But when you get the right people,
they tend to actually work towards it. Yeah, so like I always say, when it comes to the motivational code, most of the people that we bring you, these people actually lived it, and they are successful now. So they've been there, and now they're actually guiding us. And that is why every day we get to bring you the motivational code, just to remind you that you're beautiful, you're bold, you can do it, you're going to push. You know, people like Jack Ma have done it. People like Oprah Winfrey have done it. Who are you not to do it if you push? The moment you push, you're going to reach there.
Definitely. The same opportunities, the same, you know, way of life. So keep it and push it. I mean, Jennifer. So
go conquer your day today.
What do we have?
Yeah, so moving on, I'm just going to give a rundown of what we have today. So we've already dealt with the motivational quote. We have the newspaper review, and we're joined by MS Bar Board Member Activista Gambia, as well as the GPU Vice President. We also have Community Watch, Nafa program, and we will also talk about this on the Community Watch segment. Social issues. We'll be discussing maternal mortality today, and we'll be joined by Dr. Musa Myrina right here in the studio to discuss this. We have the sports update, Babukar C with Maria Masala, phone call on the sports update. We also have the entertainment update by Skengman Sweezy, and after that we'll simply get to wrap it up. So we'll take a short commercial break. When we come back, we will head right on to the newspaper review. Do stay tuned.
The best product in town is back. QCell's MiFi router. Get the best MiFi in the country for just $2,800 and connect up to 15 users with 4G internet speeds and a long-lasting battery life. So rush now to any of our customer care locations and get the best for less while stocks last. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Senior Boss, the Gambia's quality network. We innovate, others follow. To make sure your company's products and services reach your potential customers, it is essential that you choose the right channel for your marketing purposes. QTV has the widest reach locally and beyond, and we can give your business the visibility it needs. Call QTV Marketing on +220 324 4444 or email us at marketing@qtv.gm and take your business to the world.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. If you're just tuning in, you're watching QTV's This Morning program. Like I said before we went for the break, we're going to head right on to the newspaper review. Ibrahima, what is on the Standard?
Let's look at the Standard newspaper, Jenaba. And on the Standard newspaper, Gab tells Barrow to serve as unifier, stop being divisive.
Okay.
Controversial preacher say the arrested Bakausu could follow. And we also have the presidential advisor says imams not exempted from politics. Yundum Barracks commander dies. Government receives more doses of J&J vaccine from US.
Right.
UDP slams Sidinjai overreaction to UK MPs. That's what we have on the Standard newspaper.
So moving on for a newspaper, we have lawmakers task government to pay 100 million debt it owes UTG, University of the Gambia. And Gambia 1 Infantry Battalion commanding officer dies. May his soul rest in perfect peace. We have TRRC and victims on the editorial of Fourier newspaper. We have the question of the day on the Fourier newspaper. Did Dr. Cisse accuse all coalition leaders of betrayal and challenge them to a debate? Interesting. Artisanal fishermen, women trained on communication, lobbying, phone-raising skills. That is all we have on Fourier.
Yes, on the Voice newspaper, it's like there are, these stories are similar. Gambians pay tribute to Army Lieutenant Colonel Per J. Mendy. And Coalition 2016 debate, Dr. Cisse versus Halifa Sallah tomorrow. Well, interesting, Jenaba. Well, Ministry of Health reboots continuation of AstraZeneca. Okay. This is what we have on the Voice newspaper.
Okay, yeah, and on the AstraZeneca story, I think the Ministry of Health is trying to talk about that the continuation is not here yet. You know, people shouldn't be mixing and blending vaccines. They actually should wait till the AstraZeneca is back. And according to the WHO, not getting the AstraZeneca on time does not affect the effectiveness of the vaccine. Yes. I think this is something that we need to stress.
Jenaba, that is very important because there are people that have already taken the AstraZeneca vaccine. And you know the J&J is here.
It's just one shot.
So it is important for people to take note. You know, don't mix this together.
You don't need to.
You understand?
And the most important part is the fact that not having the AstraZeneca on time is not going to affect the effectiveness of the vaccine. So as long as that is assured, alhamdulillah.
Absolutely.
So MS Ba, thank you so much for joining us on the program.
It's a pleasure having me again.
Yeah, once again.
Yeah.
So on the Standard newspaper, we are seeing that religious presidential advisor Dembo Byforce is saying that imams and religious leaders in general, alcalos, shouldn't be exempted from politics. He's saying that it's not written anywhere. This is not by law written anywhere to say that an imam or an alcalo should not be part of politics. So in your own view, should imams and alcalos really be part of politics?
Thank you very much. You know, politics in context, you know, politics is very general. Whatever we do is based on politics. Anything that has interest, you know, whatever you have, you know, or you want to gain, or you want to have an outcome of something that will yield dividend to your life, obviously, is politics. Imams and alcalos or chiefs, they are not exempted. You know, even their positions are political positions. They are leaders.
Imams?
They alcalos especially. You know, but the problem is being partisan. Partisan politics, like you know, alcalos should not be partisan. They should be very objective. Anyone who comes, they have to address the needs of those people in accordance to what is expected of them. Imams also, they should not be partisan. They have to be seen as people who are leaders for everyone. And then they preach based on the truth, based on the preachings of Islam and stuff, and other religious leaders. This is what we believe. So I believe politics, everyone is a political being. You know, even if you look at Mahatma Gandhi, he said if human beings might have or should have another name, they should be called a political being because of the interest that is attached to a human being. And then human beings are obviously naturally selfish in the sense that they always want to get what they want. You understand? But absolute selfishness, that is greediness.
Yes,
so,
you can see, I think the reason why the public came out to actually condemn the fact that President Adama Barrow invited these leaders, these imams and these alcalos and chiefs at the State House tent, is because there's something that was mentioned, that is President Adama Barrow's opposition is their opposition. That was mentioned.
Yeah, I'm not even supporting that gathering as of now, because the government came with regulations and telling people that to avoid gathering. I think the president should be a leader who should be #1 in adhering to those gatherings. So if you look at about 360, according to what they posted on the official side of the State House, the Facebook page, I think it is important that we desist from those kind of gatherings. I think also President Barrow meeting religious leaders, people from other tribes and stuffs, people are seeing it as politics, because the words, the things, the utterance that they, you know, disclose is all in line with partisan politics. That is why I said initially, they should be part of because they should be part of the national discourse. And the national discourse entails political discourse, obviously. But they should not be partisan, seen to be partisan. Absolutely. If the meeting, you know, you have to also look at the intention of the meeting. What is the intention of the imams or alcalos meeting the president? Is it to address issues of concern, or is it just to throw their weight on the president ahead of the elections? So I think the intention should also be clear. It's not bad them meeting the president when it comes to national issues, but when it comes to partisan issues, definitely we need to know it's a multi-party democracy, and there should be a level playing field, because we know all these people are very influential. Imams are influential, alcalos are influential, and then chiefs are influential, and they are not there to be partisan, obviously. So I believe it could also even have a problem with regards to having a credible elections. It could jeopardize it, because now the president is doing it. No opposition party has the chance to do that, because the president has an influence. If he calls them, or anyone who facilitated for them to go to the presidency through partisan lines, definitely it should be looked at.
Yes.
And then president should ensure that there is a level playing field for everyone.
Don't you think it's the manner that it is done? Religious leaders meeting the president. It happened here previously. We all know what happened here. So don't you think this is a formula that they are following? Like if a sitting president, like they followed a particular sitting president, maybe one day, even if Barrow is not here, do you think this trend will change? Don't you think they will continue doing this?
It depends on what they believe. It depends on their intention. But what I'm saying is Gambia is a multi-party democracy, and then we need a level playing field for everyone. I think there are a lot of issues to address. You know, we have a lot of issues, especially imams, when it comes to maintaining peace, when it comes to preaching people to be non-violent. I even watch the Imam Jah. He spoke extensively about corruption and the danger of corruption, and also how Islam frowns at it. These are the issues that we want imams to be preaching at, contemporary issues that affects the daily lives of individuals, the daily lives of the governance system. So imams, they definitely should be obviously not partisan. They should be seen to be impartial, because if Yala Teresu Darahewe, we run back to the religious leaders who are seen to be impartial. But if you're now throwing your weight on a particular political party or political leader, then it's a problem. I have no problem with you supporting, but let it be in you. Let it be like something confidential. But going out to be saying certain things publicly, definitely, I think it should not be allowed, and then President Barrow should have that leadership foresight to ensure that there's a level.
Well, I had a chat with one village head. I won't mention the name and the village. During the time the president met the religious leaders and head of communities, this person told me, if you don't attend, you will be regarded as an opposition or something. You see, these are the things they have on their mind.
But that perception is bad. You are not there to just, come on, that's so bad, So, come on, that's bad. We should not have those trends.
Like Ibrahim mentioned, this is something that has been here, but hopefully this needs to change.
And we are in the middle of a pandemic.
Exactly.
The third variant is here. So you are encouraging people to, not gather. So now you're gathering. So I think definitely we should practice what
and at some point, it's even beyond the pandemic, like you mentioned. These people are supposed to be very neutral in terms of these things, because they're quite influential. So moving on, there's something that is trending currently on social media. That is the fact that Dr. Ceesay has challenged coalition leaders on a debate, and Halifa Sallah has decided to accept the challenge, and the debate is going to happen. So just when you came in, we were having this discussion about Dr. Ceesay challenging Halifa Sallah, the age gap and all of that. We were just talking about the fact that it's quite normal for these things to happen in a democracy, So what do you think about this debate? And eventually we would want to see a presidential debate, because I know there's a group of young people that are trying political commission on debates. They're trying to work on having a presidential debate, which we're looking forward to.
Absolutely. Debate is very healthy. It keeps democracy alive, and I think this is a good step. And I'm urging political leaders to follow suit. This is what we need. We need platforms where political parties will come and then manifest their interests and manifest, how they are going to obviously, handle issues when they come into power. So I believe this is absolutely good. It's a good trend. I think Dr. Ceesay, was bold enough to come out and say, this is what it is. So whosoever want, and then Halifa responded. So this is good. This is good. This is what we need. We need people to come out, And then we've seen mature democracies where debates are just normal. Debates are always, look at the U.S. You have to be attending debates. Even during the primaries, you'll be there and discussing issues, and then through that people can make informed choices.
And through that people even select leaders. But also, let's talk about what Dr. Ceesay is focusing on. Dr. Ceesay is accusing the coalition when it comes to the failure of things. I mean, the country, the leadership, and all of that. So do you agree with that? Which side are you on when it comes to this debate right now? That's what I want you to explain. If you're not in either sides, give us a balance.
Okay. Absolutely. I think the debate is very good. It's healthy. Doctor believed that the coalition fails because of the leadership. And then we've seen how the coalition went through. I think I've been following the coalition since, you know, even before them coming together.
Yes.
It's not about which side I am in or supporting.
But obviously you have an opinion. It's not about supporting Doctor or supporting Khalifa.
Yeah.
But as a Gambian citizen, I know there's something you believe in when it comes to this.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the debate, because when I just look at what was written, I think the debate will go beyond the coalition.
Okay.
And then also, it's healthy. Let people listen to what they have. I don't want to preempt their debate.
Okay.
You know, because now the debate is already there. So, but I believe the coalition also fails because it was so tight.
Okay.
Like, you know, if you talk about transition, there are certain things it has to be in place.
Yeah.
But obviously, we all know that the coalition fails because of certain reasons. Definitely, the leadership counts, and then there are certain, you know, in competition or whatever that has been even manifested. So I think we've seen this. These are things because it was supposed to be a transitional government where you have the government itself, like the executive, you have the National Assembly, clearly defined roadmap how to go about this transition. But probably there were hitches, and it fails, and we all know that absolutely. But let's look at what will come out.
To you, you might think it's healthy. You understand, but to other people, they might think Khalifa and Dr. Cisse, they are not of the same category. I mean, they should not even talk about debate.
Well, but they are all political leaders.
Exactly.
They are all citizens of the Gambia. In the eyes of the law,
there's nothing like age.
There is nothing like age.
Yeah.
Every citizen is a sovereign citizen. Every citizen. There is no constitution. There is no. The constitution didn't state that. Okay, if you are of this age, you should not debate with this man.
Exactly.
Or if you are of this age. So they are all.
Maybe
I don't think
don't make me bring you dialogue.
There is nothing like
maybe.
Even you can debate Khalifa.
For us,
you can debate
for us here,
Yeah.
maybe us we understand, but there are people out there who will not understand, because when Khalifa is a person that most people believe in this country.
Yeah.
You understand, when it comes to his educational background, you know, and his political
But
powers.
Dr. Cisse, however, has a PhD as well. I think it's going to be a balanced one.
So it's not about. I think all of them are credible. I think Khalifa was there since in the 1980. I think 1986 he started politics. Probably by then Doctor was young. But it doesn't matter.
Exactly.
They are all sovereign
political leaders.
citizens. And then Khalifa accepted. So what else?
Don't you think the beginning of this political debate, this is just the beginning.
It is.
It's going to cause a lot of issues. It's going to cause a lot of noise in this country before we get used to it.
Of course. But people should understand this is what will even help people to get the grasp of their candidates, their leaders. You know, and some people support leaders. If you ask them, why are you supporting the leader? They will just tell you, I just like the leader. It doesn't make sense. You have to support someone because of a cause, because of something.
But Emma,
I think it's important.
Due to time constraints, I think we've dealt with that. But we have very, very limited time. But I think there's something very important that we need to discuss before we leave. That is, lawmakers task government to pay 100 million debt that they owe UTG. So what do you have in relation to this? Is the highest learning institution in the Gambia. Just quickly, I think this is very important.
Yeah, I think the debt was 150 million, and then the supplementary bill addressed the 50 million. I think this debt has been there for so long, for many years. And then university, the engine of growth of the university is obviously resources. And then we know that the university has some lapses, obviously. And then, but obviously government is owing the university. And we've seen a lot of turbulence between the staff and the administration. That is the lecturers and the administrations. We've seen the protest, just the deadlock, and then it was addressed. But I think it's not sustainable. What government should be doing even is to adjust the budget that they allocate to the University of the Gambia. Let them trash out this budget. And then the lawmakers, obviously, they should, you know, be following government to ensure that, because you cannot have a proper society without a good education. And then where can you get that is through the higher institution of learning, not only the University of the Gambia, but we have other institutions like the GTTI, we have the MDIs. I think government need to really invest. Look at the MDI. It was #1 model in the in Africa. But now others who came to learn from the Gambia are now using those models, and they are
thank you so much. I think we have limited time, but actually this needed to be treated because it is very important. We wouldn't do justice if we did not talk about this because, like you mentioned, the University of the Gambia is the highest learning institution in the country, and it needs support. You know, it needs support. We have GTTI, we have MDI, and these are two institutions that the government of the Gambia came out to say that they're going to change these things into universities. That is MDI and GTTI. And if you want to do that with these, then the only one that we have has to be structured at some point. So I think it is important that we dealt with this. Thank you so much, MS Ba. Due to time constraints, obviously, we wanted this conversation to continue because we have a lot of stories, but we're going to head right on to the community watch. We have the director of NANA. Here, he'll be talking about the Nafa program. But before that, let's take a look at this video. When we come back, we will get to have a discussion on the Nafa program with the director of NANA.
The government of the Gambia, with support from World Bank, is introducing a government-initiated program called Nafa program in support of the National Development Plan 2017 to 2021. The program will be implemented by the National Nutrition Agency, NANA, in collaboration with the Directorate of Social Welfare and the Department of Community Development. The Nafa program is a 3-year program which aims to build resilience among extreme poor households by providing cash transfers meant to support household needs, increase food availability and dietary diversification, and social behavioral change communication activities, and improve livelihoods in 20 districts in the Gambia. Beneficiaries will be enrolled in the program for a period of 18 months, effective 2021, and will receive a payment of $3,000 every 2 months, preferably to be received by a woman. Beneficiaries will also be provided with opportunities, amongst others, to learn more about maternal child health and nutrition. Pregnant women should eat a variety of foods. This involves eating from all the main food groups daily. A healthy diet keeps the mother and the baby well nourished and healthy and gives both of them the strength, energy, and protection from illnesses. A healthy diet also gives mothers and their babies the vitamins and minerals they need. Eat a variety of locally available and affordable foods from all the 4 food groups. Limit sugary, salty, and fatty foods. Use iodized salt for cooking. Drink plenty of water, at least 1.5 to 2 liters a day. Delivering in a health facility is safer for the mother and baby. They will receive proper medical attention from skilled personnel and in a hygienic environment. Early initiation helps babies to learn to breastfeed and allows them to benefit from the colostrum that helps protect your baby from illnesses. Breast milk contains enough water and food for the infant for the first 6 months of life. No other foods, liquids, including water and tea, should be given to the child during the first 6 months of the child's life. Exclusive breastfeeding protects your baby from infections. Complementary foods help prevent malnutrition. At 6 months, babies can be introduced to complementary foods in addition to breast milk for proper growth and development. Wash your hands before preparing complementary foods and feeding children. Children should be immunized to make them resistant to infectious diseases. All children should be taken to the clinic regularly in the first year to be fully immunized. Always follow the immunization schedule to save the lives of your children. This information is brought to you by the National Nutrition Agency, NANA, under the Office of the Vice President and Partners. For any grievances, please call the toll-free line on 1214 using any available network. Nafa, building household resilience.
Welcome back, viewers, from that break. So that was a video of the Nafa program that is currently happening in the Gambia, and we are joined by the director of NANA, Mr. Fall. Thank you so much for joining us.
You're welcome.
We totally believe that the Nafa initiative is a very, very good program. Of course, we'll be talking about sustainability and some of the progress that it has registered. I'll start with that, because I don't think there's a need for us to engage you about how it started and what it does, because the video has clearly explained what the Nafa program is all about. But what we are interested in knowing right now is the progress that it has gained so far. You know, what are the successes that you've registered so far? Is this program going well so far as we speak?
Thank you very much. I mean, good morning to viewers wherever you may be in the Gambia. Yes, I mean, if you can remember, this project started well in 2020. It was just around when we wanted to launch the program proper that the COVID-19 came. And the government of the Gambia sat with the World Bank to restructure the program so that some of the monies that were destined for the Nafa program could be used for the Nafa Quick. That's how the Nafa Quick word became coined. In that, we were able to go to 30 districts, the poorest districts in the Gambia, and for each of those households, more than 72 households, we were able to give them a cash transfer of $6,000 spread over 4 months. Okay. Meaning that, and that came during the time when it was the lean period. We all know that by this time of the year in the Gambia, it's a lean period. It's very hard in the rural area, and that is what the Nafa Quick came to address. But that was just, it came by accident. By then, we had a similar program called the Nafa program. And the Nafa program was going to be premised on, one, doing a social registry, that is going into the communities, 20 districts, collect socio-economic data to be able to identify the people who are extremely poor. Because the resource package is not infinite, it's just a finite resource package. You cannot go to every household, you cannot go to every district. So what the social registry data collection did was they were able to go around the country, 20 districts, collect information, and then we analyze this information, do what we call fractioning tests. They're able to decipher out of the people, the very poor people, who are the poorest among those poor people. So then 15,606 of those households will be targeted. And we have just completed that exercise. We have the list from the Social Protection Secretariat together with GBOS. Right now, the guys are in the field, the staff are in the field. And when I talk about the staff, it's staff from NANA, staff from Community Development, staff from Department of Social Welfare. Their first engagement was to go down to the field with the list that they got from GBOS to go and validate. Because we don't know the communities, we don't know the households that we are dealing. So they will go into each of these communities and ask them, do you know these people that we are reading their names? And the communities will answer, yes, we know their names. And then, do you agree that these are the poorest households? And they say, these are the poorest households. And now we are giving them a grace period of 2 weeks, during which time we are expected to receive some reports or grievances. Okay. So that if anybody felt that, you know, you are poor and you have been left out, you can call back that number 1214 and lay your grievance. And another team will go through the grievance cycle for us to be able to get back to the individuals, again going through the Social Protection Secretariat and GBOS to do a rerun of the fractioning test to see whether what these people are saying is all right. Okay. So that is being done right now. But as starting from today, we are doing another aspect of the training. So we will wait for 2 weeks. After the 2 weeks, we will go back to those communities and do the registration. So that those households that have been identified, they will be registered into the system. And for the next 18 months, for every month, they will be paid an amount of $1,500.
Okay.
Yes.
So,
well, for me, it keeps me thinking, how do you determine the Nafa program is given to the people who need it the most? And we've had recently, when it comes to Gambia, the corruption is on the rise. And this has to do with money. So what are you people doing to make sure corruption is out of it? Because whenever there is money, there will be corruption.
Sure.
You're right. You know, the World Bank too would not give just money without laying some conditions about fraud, about corruption. And I believe I can tell you, when you work for the poor people, you don't even want to touch a dollar from the poor people. I'm not saying, and I cannot beat my chest and say that the National Nutrition Agency is corrupt-free, but what I know, since we started implementing programs and projects in this country, I can tell you the bulk of the money goes to where it is needed. This is up to a point. We don't even determine who and who is going to receive the money. We don't know them. It's through the proxy mean test that they are determined. The households are determined. 2, it is not the National Nutrition Agency or Community Development or Social Welfare or Social Secretariat who will go down with a bag of money into the community and do the payment. We have a payment service provider who are contracted so that we are neutral about it. They will go, we sign a contract with them, we'll give them the list of the beneficiary households, and they will pay them. So for corruption to come in is very minimal, and I can assure you, if it is ever happened, then the agency is open to investigation and say where the corruption is coming from.
Why do you give out money instead of maybe household items? I mean, why not you buy all the things like rice, sugar, you know, cooking oil, and distribute it instead of the physical cash?
Yeah. Households that have their own needs. So I cannot sit down here and, prior to doing this, we did some assessments. We went into the communities. We asked them, if you were to receive money, would you prefer to be given cash or kind? And I can tell you the majority of the people said that they would prefer to receive it in cash. Because food might not be the only thing that they need. They have some health problems that they would like to address. They have some educational problems they would like to address. The storms are here. Some of their roofs are blown off. They would like to go and buy a couple of corrugated iron sheets to come and mend it. And I can tell you, it's not easy to distribute food. Food distribution, it's not an easy work to do. People think that it's as simple as buying oil, rice, and go to communities and distribute. It's a very messy thing. But I can tell you, we don't just jump into the communities. We did some studies, and this is what the studies show us. Give us our money in our hand. And that is why, as part of the money that we are giving them, we are also linking it to a social and behavior change communication. Not to, this is an unconditional cash transfer. It's not a conditional cash transfer where you tell the person, you have to use your money on this. It's unconditional. But we will also give them some guidelines. Just like the advert was trying to portray. We will tell them about maternal nutrition, child nutrition, early childhood development. We will even encourage them to save a little bit of that money so that, you know, they can invest it in sort of productive means around the household. They will invest in agriculture, and we will also tell them about gender-based violence, which is also another issue that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
So moving on, let's talk about sustainability. This is something that I have great interest in. You talked about the fact that this started in 2019, and it's going to go all the way to 2021 here, right now?
Yeah,
and it will phase out?
Yeah.
Oh. So is there any chance to have it back? So how sustainable is this project? Are we just having it once and it's done, or is it something that is going to be coming here and there?
Whenever you run a program, you want to transit from a project to a program.
Yeah.
And part of the science that there will be sustainability is the component 1 of the project.
Okay.
where there is a social secretariat established, where there is the social registry established. Well, after this project, hopefully, and even well before this project, there was a social policy, social safety net policy developed by the government of the Gambia with the intention that they're going to, with partners, to make sure that they look at the issues of vulnerable groups within this country and try to help them in times of emergency, and also try to look at the most vulnerable and try to see how they can lift them out of poverty. So there is a likelihood, and even right now, the World Bank is putting 30 million, but the government is putting 1 million, just as a sign to show that, you know, they are ready. At the end of the project, they will work out to see how best they can sustain this project. It's not easy to sustain, but it's a very justifiable investment. I cannot think of any proper activity or program more than, you know, trying to help the extreme poor to get them out of that pit and lifting them out, because the main problem about our socio-economic development is about poverty. And I think the government will not only come up with a policy document and at the end of the project they say, oh no, we are not going to put some money into it.
Is there any intention to increase the number of the district? I understand that you people are doing your activities in 20 districts. Is there any intention in the future?
It all depends on the dynamics of poverty. Because again, we don't just wake up in the morning and say, we're going to choose these districts. The integrated household survey conducted by GBOS, if you are very familiar with that document, will detail and give you the profile of where the poor people live in this country, district by district. It is that same list that we used to identify those districts. Hopefully, the dynamics of poverty may change, and perhaps, and let's pray for the best, that we begin to decrease poverty rather than increase in poverty.
Yes, I'm really
I think that's what we should be all praying for.
I want to see Nana in future maybe have 10 districts instead of the 20.
Yeah,
I'm looking forward
with
to
a larger volume of cash transfer.
Exactly.
You know, and then try to get those people out of it.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this is not the only social protection or social safety net. The reason why the social registry is being built and constructed is to have a catalog of all the poor people in the country. Who knows, another agency might come with a bigger volume of cash transfer. They might even come and say, we are not going to do cash transfer as you are suggesting, but we will be giving rice. Some will say, okay, because of this disaster that has just passed, we will be given corrugated iron sheets or bags of cement so that people will stop building mud houses and start building their cement houses. These are all possibilities that can come. This is just the forced cash transfer, social safety net, that the government is implemented. But we are hoping to see more and more of them as far as poverty is.
Yeah, so Mr. Fall, I think we have very little time, but before we leave, you talked about the social registry. And this is something that another agency can also use to implement a project. So how good is the social registry right now? How structured is it to an extent that if somebody else comes, the person will be able to use it and it could guide the particular individual? Because I can remember I had a few conversations with certain people and they will tell me the social registry is not very structured. It's not something that somebody can depend on. So how good is it to actually guide processes in terms of projects?
I can tell you one thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing like a perfect system.
Okay.
And since this is the first time Gambia is experimenting with a social registry, I would prefer to have something, try to look at what the weaknesses are, improve upon it, than not to have anything in place.
Okay, but so it's not good enough right now?
No, it's good. I can tell you. When we did the PMT and went down into the communities, most of the people who have been identified as extremely poor were actually extremely poor. So I would definitely say that it's something that is good, but I can tell you there is nothing like a perfect system. Maybe as we learn from the fourth round, then we will see where we can improve upon this result.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Fall, Director of NANA, for joining us. Thank you so much. I believe when you come next time, then we will talk about the perception of immunizations when it comes to these women. It's something that I wanted us to talk about, but hopefully when you get to come back here, we can delve into that. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
So viewers, we will take a short commercial break. When we come back from Community Watch, we're going to head right on to social issues. We are going to be talking about maternal mortality rate in the Gambia, and we'll be joined by Dr. Musa Marina to take us through this. Do stay tuned.
One nation, 8 tribes. We are the smiling coast of Africa. Gap-toothed, wide smile, rich melanin skin, radiant with the colors of a rich tapestry of cultures, telling one story of unity and beauty. Wrapped in the soft folds of a mother's sir, a Khalifa's Grambuba, we embody the past of our ancestors and the promise of our descendants. Follow the records of our history, this story that tells of a people watered by the river in the gleaming sun of a coastal nation. Listen to the folk tales, those old tales we grew up on. Lebon, Lupain, Amon Nafi, Danaam. Hear the music of an entire nation in the language of its heart and mother tongue. Our tongues are heavy with the song of our people. Rich and thick it rolls off like domoda, soft like yasa, bena chinla, nyokomom. Feel the beat of our pounding feet as we dance to the sounds of a throbbing drum, ageless in its rhythm. The griot's kora that speaks the wisdom of the ages. The sweet sound of a mother's lullaby bringing even sweeter sleep. We clap a melody with young and old hands, a symphony full of the pleasures of life, the joys of work and home. We are Gambian. Bi suñu cosaan la, suñu dëkk, suñu bos.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short break. Thank you so much to Mr. Fall, the director of NANA. He took us through the Nafa program. Now we are joined by Mr. Musa Marina, and he'll be talking about maternal mortality in the Gambia. Quite significant topic, Ibrahim.
Absolutely. Maternal mortality in the Gambia. Recently, many people have been making a lot of noise, you know, but especially women group going out, I mean, protesting.
Women's lives matter.
Exactly.
Yes.
So it is important for us to discuss that here, and we have Doctor with us who will be taking us through and tell us what the problem is, Jenaba, because so, people have been talking about it.
Yeah, people have been talking about it. And Mr. Marina, there's just something that I want to establish before we go in depth. When it comes to maternal mortality, like you said, women are coming out with the women's life matter and all of that. But you could see that, on the other hand, you have some individuals saying that maternal mortality is now reported a lot by the media. That is why it is out there, but it has always been there. It's not like it just skyrocketed within this period. So I just want you to clear the air in relation to that. Is it because the reports are too many and people are concentrating on it more, or is it because it's skyrocketed within this period?
Thank you very much. Good morning, viewers. I'm Dr. Musa Marina from the Ministry of Health. Maternal mortality, like any other issue nowadays, has come to the front line because basically the social media is out there. But this has been issues that have been affecting our women. And if you look at the ancient period, they look at the mummies that they have identified. You've seen that some women have died while pregnant. So it's not an issue that has been happening recently. But when we talk with data. And what the data that are out there, initially, if you look at earlier on, in the 80s towards early 90s, the maternal mortality rate was 1,050 in this country.
Okay. 1,050 in a month or in a year?
No, per 100,000 live out.
Okay,
so
good.
That's how we calculate
Yes, I was expecting that.
So if you, later another study was done, and they found out that it was 730. The recent studies, depending on the, it was different from the previous studies, but the recent study was 2000 and I think around 2008 or something. The figure was 433, but the method of that study was different from the previous method. Recently, GBOS has published data which has shown that maternal mortality is about 289, if I get it right, per 100,000 live births. For us at the Ministry of Health, we have our own data that we collect for the last 2 years. That because maternal mortality is a reportable event, meaning that when it happens, it has to be reported. Either if it happens in a community, they have to report it to the nearest health facility, and which will have to report it to our office. In 2020, we had 2019, we had about 137 women who died that were reported. In last year, we had 105. So if you do the calculation, that's about 299 per 100,000 live births. So you can see the trend that it has been going down.
But Mr. Marina, in as much as you are trying to take us through a trend, that this particular issue that we're talking about, that is maternal mortality, has been taken, but let's bear in mind that technology is advancing. Okay, it is expected that in the 90s and in the 80s, this is the situation. Where in 2021, technology has advanced. People have gone out to study. You know, people feel like there's no excuse, even if it's one woman, there's no excuse that should be attached to it to say somebody needs to die. So do you think really 137 is still a good figure for Gambia?
I'm not giving you any excuses, as you are implying. I'm just telling you what the figures are.
Yeah, but you talked about the fact that it's reported more now, so that is why
I'm just trying to show you the trend that is going down. And I have stated earlier on that why it's being reported now is because the people have been raising the issues. It's not only the women lives matters, but even those in the Ministry of Health. We've been raising some of these issues. So basically, if you look at the maternal mortality, you have the community causes and you have the health facility causes. The community cause of maternal death is the bulk. If you want to reduce maternal death, one of the professors in Egypt have highlighted what are the issues that you need to identify. You need to look at the education of the women. You need to educate the women. You need to boost their nutritional status. They need to be empowered. Empowering means most women will have an issue. They have to wait for their husband's consent or somebody's consent before they move to the hospital. So you have to financially empower them as well, because they have to wait for the husband or somebody else to give them the money. They have to utilize contraceptive, because if you don't get pregnant, you don't die from pregnancy. Then on the fifth, the last two are mainly the ones that are within the health facility. That means that we have to have a strong, essential maternal and child health care. We also have to have comprehensive obstetric care, which means that when an emergency situation arises, the interventions have to be prompt and sudden, which includes the delays that we talked about, getting to the health facility. I was coming this morning, it takes me almost 1 hour to get here. You imagine a woman who is pregnant, and you can imagine over the night it was raining. If that woman should happen to be in labor at night, how does he get to the main route to get a vehicle to get to the nearest health facility? So it is everybody's issue. So there are a lot of delays along the way. The only delay that people tend to highlight or see is the delay within the health facility, which some of us is beyond us, because we know that healthcare in the Gambia is free. So whatever is free, if you are not adequately funding it, then you will see the lapses there.
Okay, doctor, there is a study that I've gone through. We are ranked among the highest in Africa when it comes to maternal mortality. And I understand that too. When it comes to maternal mortality, it is high in the rural area than this area. Why? Is it that the people at the rural area are not taking their health system very seriously?
No, it's not. It's not. That is part of it. But we all know the development indicators in the country. And the things that I've highlighted. If you compare each of them, let's compare education in the rural and urban. You see there's difference. You compare nutritional status of people in the urban and rural.
Yeah, I think, Mr. Marina, we have the graph in front of you.
Number of maternal deaths by region.
So this is the data from our office, because as I told you, we have reportable. So this is what we have reported. If you look at Western 1, which is from Banjul up to Abuko area, that's Western 1. Then Western 2 is from Brikama up to Kallaji. Then you have Lower River, Central River, you have Upper River, and you have North Bank West, that's from Eseu to Kerawan, and North Bank East. So if you look at Western 1, because you know majority of the population lives in Western 1, and EFSTH, Bundung, and Kanifing are within that area, and they are the main referral centers. So most of the problems that are not being managed in smaller health facilities are being referred to these major health facilities. So this is expected to have a higher compared to other regions. So, but if you look at, for example, the rural areas, Central River, Upper River, the number we had was, for Central River it was 12, and Upper River was 9, which was reported. But if you compare it to the population, it is high, as compared to the numbers. So if the population base, it is high. So like I said earlier on, for every social aspect, the urban tend to benefit more from than the rural. Because if you look at our country, we live within the developing countries, and the indices are somehow similar. And if you look at the health care provisions of this country, it's just less than 20 years. No, let's say 2006, when Gambia started producing its own doctors. And if you look at the whole country, we have less than 5 obstetricians, qualified obstetricians. So you can see what we have to go through. And if you look at the number of deliveries, for example, in Brikama, they have about 100 deliveries per week. So 100 deliveries. So the number of deliveries that we have, and as compared to the human resources available, is high.
Okay, so Mr.
So these are some of the issues that we have.
Is it fair that you talked about education, nutrition, empowerment, money, contraceptive, and you talked about the last two that has to do directly with the health facility. So should we say that the most prominent ones are the last two? Is it fair to say that?
No.
Why not?
Because in healthcare, preventive medicine is more powerful than curative medicine. Curative medicine is expensive. And we all know that about 75% of maternal death can be prevented if we deal with the first 5 that we talked about.
But don't you think with a lot of sensitization programs now that are going on, women are becoming more aware of what they're doing? I speak with women sometimes and they tell me, the madam Senegal put them deliver food parce que you know, these are things that they say. So don't you think they're becoming aware gradually about their, when they're pregnant, the steps that they need to take?
I think people, some of the women are getting aware, but the majority, the awareness, you know, there are different ways of being aware. Most of these women who are even saying that they're going to deliver in Senegal, when you ask them, why do you want to go and deliver there? Do you even know where you want to go and deliver? They don't. Because what they heard about, they didn't find out what the issues are. So, and people now, I think delivering outside the country has now become a sort of a, how would I call it?
Are you trying to say a luxury?
Yeah, being affluent to go and deliver outside in some of them. But every woman, when you get pregnant, you should know where you should deliver and when you should deliver. So those decisions have to be taken earlier on. And you should know your healthcare provider very well. So that when you come, when complications arises and when you get to the facility, they know who you are, they know your problem. But majority of the women go for antenatals by 8 months, 9 months. So, and 15% of all pregnancies get complicated, whatever you do. Those women who have been to school, you can have somebody who has been well educated, well nourished, been using contraceptive, been empowered, and whatever, develops complication. So she would have fall under the 15%. So that's where the emergency situation. But if she falls under that 15%, getting to the health facility on time is another issue.
Yes, okay. Doctor,
yes.
Let's talk about accessing the facility for those that are living in the rural area. Because most women in the rural area are living very far. For example, places like Sarengai, places like Jakunda, you know, these are very far. Before they access Basse Major clinic, it's a problem. Now it's even better because the road network is good now. But many years ago, many people died on their route to Basse.
So these are some of the issues. Like I said, everybody has a role to play to reduce maternal mortality. Even the media houses. Some of the media houses, you go there, they are promoting alternate care, which is different from our traditional care. You see the traditional healers promoting themselves that I can cure this, I can deal with this. And our people are listening to some of these things. But to answer your question, the information that is usually given to these women when they come for antenatal, because for every community or closer to you, which we call a primary health care village, you have a health post there, or a health center, minor health center. If you have a complications, you go to that facility. Most of those facilities have an ambulance service that can refer you to the nearest hospital. But what tends to happen is there is a delay from moving from your community to that health facility for one reason or the other. They want to deliver at home. Maybe we don't. There are a lot of reasons why they want to do that. Others is because of tradition. Others is because of culture. Others because of lack of confidence. So, which means that we need to give our women positive information, no negative information, in order to reduce maternal mortality.
Doctor, it's important for us to clarify these things because coming on this program, it's very important.
Of course.
There are many factors that are contributing to maternal health in this country. Sometimes you have a referral to take a particular person for delivery. They'll tell you the ambulance, there is no fuel. I've had a lot of women complain about that. Or you go to the lab, there is no blood.
Yes, I was going to come to that, the blood issue.
Every day, people are donating blood.
Exactly. So what's up with the blood?
So what is the problem, doctor? There is a problem.
Yes.
Exactly.
There is a problem.
Sure.
If a single woman develops complications, that woman would need probably up to 8 bags of blood.
Okay.
And we have a lot of women who are developing complications. Because what happens is most of these women begins pregnancy with a problem. So you become anemic. So when you start bleeding, it's not like you and I donate 1 or 2 units expecting that the facility will have a blood bank. And there is nowhere in this world where blood is being sold. People have to volunteer to give blood. So if you give blood, and blood can only stay for 1 month. So if you give blood in 1 month, after 1 month, that blood, whether it's used or it's not used, will expire. So, and our people don't have the culture of donating blood. They don't go and donate blood. So apparently what tends to happen is people who donate blood, in one way or the other, have a patient in the hospital. They only donate when they have a patient. So it is somehow what we call, in financial, we will call it some degree of environment. Because you donate blood, the blood is not needed by you at that point in time. We give it to somebody else who needs it urgently. But we have constraints, we have difficulty.
But do you know that it's alleged that when it comes to blood at hospitals, there's some sort of corruption? Are you aware of that? Have you ever heard of that?
I have heard about it.
You are talking about the fact that in all over the world, blood, you cannot sell blood. But it is alleged that these things are happening in the Gambia.
I have heard about it. So we, you know, the problem we tend to have in this country is a lot of alleged with no evidence. If somebody sold you blood, why don't you go and report it to the appropriate
patient at a time?
If you have a patient,
I'm not saying at that point in time, but later on, you should go and report that, because that guy is robbing you from your resources. And we have systems. But if we just go out, you have the confidence to go and tell somebody outside. But you don't have the confidence to tell the people within the facility for them to know.
But a person who's desperate at the time.
No, I'm not saying at the time.
Basically,
later on. Later on.
Yes, if you have a patient at a particular clinic and you are in desperate need of blood, I mean, there is only one pint of blood. So definitely, anything they tell you to do it,
at some point you will have to give in.
But we all know that it's difficult to control human beings. For everywhere you go, even in these media houses, there are people who are doing things that you and I may not be aware. That's the reality. But we cannot use that stick to beat everybody in the facility. There are hard-working people. And I urge the media to go to some of these health facilities and see what the workers had to go through. So maybe you can organize one program in a whole 24 hours. One of your journalists will be on one of these facilities
let me tell
and
him
see
a
what
story.
goes on.
Let me tell you something, Mr. Marina. Sometimes, as media houses, sometimes we want to tell stories, like you mentioned, both the positive and the negative.
Absolutely.
I can remember there was a time we did a story about the Edward Francis Moore Teaching Hospital and its condition. I can remember I went back there to cover and I was chased out. So
chased
out to go out because we actually reported something that was negative.
Exactly.
So how can journalists, you're talking about the fact that journalists should take the initiative to tell the positive aspects of things, but at the end of the day it has to be balanced.
But when we are chased out, did you report to the facility,
we did.
the head of the,
We did.
and what was the response?
It was solved, but the fact that there's a mindset that these things shouldn't be out there, that's what I'm trying to put across here.
But what I'm trying to say is when we want to make changes, we shouldn't be scared of people who are against change.
Okay.
We shouldn't be scared of them. Because if we do, they're going to win. So you being chased out and never went back.
Obviously we did go back, but I'm just trying to put this out.
You will always have those
because
things.
It's important to just put this out to show that in as much as we want the positive things out there, but it's also good to bring out the negative issues so that you know, things can be solved.
Yeah, I mean, whenever it happens, I mean, we will always make sure we are there to report it. I can remember I went to Bundung Maternal Clinic. Well, it was very good. I mean, the people at that place, the nurses, I mean, they've taken good care of me. So whenever they do good, we will report it. Whenever they do anything.
Yeah, I can remember I reported on Sukuta Health Center when they were awarding their nurses.
We are talking about a hearsay of blood being sold.
Yes.
So I'm giving you the tips how to go about to get that information.
Yeah.
You can disguise yourself because we know that there are people who have other intentions, which is different from the general good of the society. There are people, they are from our houses.
Doctor, we know you people you are trying your level best. But this is our health system we're talking about.
To disguise ourselves. We've also seen a report by Malagan where somebody disguised themselves when it comes to this COVID test. But till now, we cannot tell what is the outcome of that investigation. We do not even know if there's a panel.
Have you gone back to find out?
Well, Malagan has gone back to find out and has reported to us that nothing has come out of it as we speak.
Yes, so did you follow up? Because
the follow-up is been done.
Yes, so you see, this is what I have said earlier on. There will be people who will not be willing to have the good of the society. But we should not relent. But let's go back to what we are discussing about maternal health. It's not about the Ministry of Health. Let's talk about maternal health because women are very important here.
But just give us your final words and we'll get to wrap it up.
Doctor, you'll be back on this program again.
Anytime.
Anytime. I invite you.
Anytime
we have a lot to discuss.
Exactly.
Anytime you need me. I'm not media side.
Okay.
So anytime, any media houses that needs me, I come.
So finally, tell us how we can boost the confidence of women to actually have confidence in our health system.
Okay, so
finally,
the points that I've given you, proper nutrition, we need to educate our women, we need to empower our women, we need to ask our women to go for antenatal care as early as possible when they get pregnant. And when, if there are complications, we shouldn't delay, because we shouldn't delay to make decisions. When we empower them, they would have already made the decisions on their own. And finally, we should support them. We need to support our people. These women are our sisters, our mothers, and
Absolutely.
our relatives. Sure. When they die, we go for their funerals.
Could be me.
It could be me. It could be my wife.
Yes.
So my wife delivers in these hospitals that everybody is running away.
Yes.
All my babies are born in Banjul and Bundu.
Okay.
So I don't run away. So I hope that everybody will find out what is the problem.
Exactly. We should have confidence in our health system.
But to have confidence in the health system, things need to be put in place. I do not blame the women who are going overseas.
I don't blame anybody. It's choice.
It's my choice. And if you know you're not comfortable, don't do it. That is just the thing. Because I wouldn't ask people to do something that I wouldn't do. Because this is a life and death situation.
You have the resources to go. But what are you thinking about those who don't have the resources?
That is why the system needs to be adjusted.
Your role now is to make sure that the system changes.
Exactly. That is why we are having this discussion.
You don't run away from the system.
Yes, that is why we are having this discussion. Thank you so much, Mr. Marin.
We'll invite you on this program.
And I'm happy about the fact that you said you're not media shy. This is what we want. Thank you so much, Mr. Marin. So moving on, we will take a look at the sports update, and we are joined by Ansumana Isonyasi. So let's take a short break, and we will take a look at the sports update.
Thank you for coming.
Welcome back, viewers. Like I said, we're going to head right on to the sports update. And for the first time, we have our colleague, Ansumana Isonyasi, to take us through what is happening in the world of sports.
Good morning. Yeah. Good morning, Geneva. Good morning, Balde. And good morning to our beautiful, wonderful viewers out there. I mean, I couldn't be happier to be here to present the sports segment. For the past days, we have, been glued to our screens for obvious reasons. I mean, sometimes way into the wee hours of the morning, especially on one occasion, to cheer and watch our Olympic heroes. Represent Gambia. They've been great ambassadors, but one discipline that stood out in Tokyo is athletics. And one person who unfortunately haven't been able to make it to Tokyo, as he hasn't been enjoying the best of health, is the national coach of our athletics team, and that is Mariama Sala, who is on the line to speak to us on this morning. So good morning, Madam Sala.
Good morning.
Well, thank you for agreeing to speak to us. We very much appreciate this. Just quickly,
you're welcome.
First, what do you make of our performance in Tokyo?
Well, for me, thank you very much, Ansumana. Gina has done great in Tokyo because looking at her performance in Rio, when we were in Rio Olympics in 2016, she was just at the first round. And in Tokyo, she was able to be in the semi-final. So, and I know in Paris, she will be in the final. So she has just done very well, and I really appreciate her efforts. And the efforts of the coaches, the NOC, the IOC in general. Gina is in an IOC scholarship. It's not on a government scholarship. Olympic Solidarity. That is the scholarship Gina is having, and number 4 athletes. So when we want to see more of Gina, so government has to come in, and the private sector in general. Because we have a lot of Ginas on the ground, but there is no help. As you may know, coaches are coaching in the Gambia without salary. Athletics is a part-time job for coaches because we have our full-time jobs. Yeah. So when you want good coaches and good athletes and good performance, it takes a lot of things. So
yes. Okay, you've mentioned how close Gina was to making it to the finals in Rio, and we've seen a similar pattern in Tokyo as well, and you've attributed some of these to maybe a lack of support, a lack of facilities, and here and there. But what do you think we should do going forward now? What should we do to be able to compete for medals like other countries?
Yeah, what we should do is, that is capacitizing these coaches is very important. Because the coaches on the ground in the Gambia, you have few coaches who are qualified, I can say. Because in coaching too, in athletics, it's not that every Tom, Dick and Harry will come and coach. We have levels. I'm the only level 3 holder, IAF, in West Africa, female coach. And then in the Gambia, we have level 2 and level 1 coaches. So we have to, the capacity building is very important, number 1 for coaches. Again, the athletes are here, but most of the athletes, when they finish school, they are not paid. So all of them, what they do is they go and find something to do where they can earn money to take care of themselves and their families. Yes.
So give it
athletes in the Gambia now, we should start a system where, athletes are being paid, like Gina. Gina is a police officer, one can say. She's a police officer. Yeah. But she's earning like any other police officer in the Gambia.
And you want that change?
She's not having any allowance from government. Apart from the scholarships she's having in Dakar, there is nobody, not government, not the LOC, not the association, who is giving Gina something at the end of every month, apart from the scholarships she's enjoying.
Now, that's quite sad, especially given how much Gina has given this country.
So if today Gina can go to the Olympics with all those setbacks, and then go to the semi-final stage, that is a big credit for Gina.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the Gambia at large. So I think we should look back at our sport. Sport is very expensive. If you want to see more Gambian participation in all sports in the Olympics, we have to invest in sports.
All right, Madam Sala, just a quick one finally. You've highlighted the problems and you've highlighted what needs to be done to get us to the stage that we all want to see Gambian athletics and even sports in general. What message do you have to everyone watching this, especially in relation to supporting our athletes?
Yeah, the athletes, like right now, we consider the GA is building our headquarters just behind the Social Security. That's where our headquarters is. And we are building a hostel in this headquarters. All this, we want to be camping our athletes, training camps, and in fact, we can have training camps in the Gambia. We can have them sent to other countries like in long and middle distance, Indonesia, in Kenya. You can see, as you can see in the Olympics now, things are changing. Right. The Kenyans were dominating the long distance, but you've seen it. They are watching.
All right, thank you.
Other countries are coming on. So this is telling you that things are changing. Things are no more long distance East Africans or something. So this is it. The athletes should be exposed to competition and taken to training camps.
Thank you, Madam Sala. I'm afraid that is all the time permits. I mean, it was a pleasure speaking to you. We very much appreciate your time, and we look forward to engaging you more in our subsequent programs, hopefully. Thank you so very much. Jennifer, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Ansumana Sonyasi, for that update, and thank you so much to Mrs. Sala for what she does. Absolutely, she talked about the fact that coaches are not paid, but they do this voluntarily.
Jennifer, if we are to see our athletes to another level, I think Gambia, we should change our attitude. We should support these people.
And we should not forget coaches.
Exactly, coaches as well.
I mean,
so it's very important, Jennifer.
Yes. All right, so we will take a short commercial break, and when we come back, we have the entertainment update by Kangman Sweezy. And his birthday is coming up. He's turning up, you guys. Let's take a short break. When we come back, we'll get to look at the entertainment update.
Step into the future of television with sleek and slim design Samsung Smart TVs, ranging in size from 32 to 75 inches and in different technology. Smart LED, Crystal UHD, Ultra High Definition, and QLED Quantum Dot LED. Get new ways of interacting with your TV as our TVs offer an unparalleled vision, adventure, from the comfort of your living room. Ultra viewing angle, powerful picture quality, web browser, gallery, Earthnet LAN, wireless LAN built-in, Bluetooth, screen mirroring technology, mobile on TV mirroring, built-in voice assistance, Wi-Fi direct. Not only that, our TVs are backed with 12 months warranty and we are currently on a promotion. Contact us on 333-3217.
Welcome back, viewers, from that short commercial break, and we are back. Yes.
Yeah, baby, Skankman is back again.
Skankman Sweezy and on the entertainment update.
Studio.
Ba tay duñ fi am ka borom kanjay def naka. Borom kanjay super. Wa borom kanjay super. Ba amuñ fi lolu tay.
When I was surprised because after the interview yesterday, a lot of people watched the interview, and that guy is still making waves on social media as well.
With that
interview that we had yesterday. So it was a surprise actually. It wasn't really something that I was expecting, but it was a surprise.
This is this morning.
We'll give you the platform. You come and prove yourself.
Simple and easy. Good morning, viewers. I'm Skankman Sweezy, and my guest in the studio today is Lyrical Yapse. He just dropped his mixtape, which is making waves. He's making waves actually. My favorite song from the mixtape is Bata Jao. Yapse, welcome to the show.
Thanks, hello, brother. How are you doing?
I'm okay, bro. It's
so
a pleasure, man.
You
just dropped a mixtape.
Yeah.
It's called the Neighborhood EP, and it's 6-track mixtape, which is really making waves.
Yeah.
I'm glad to have you in the studio. Tell us a bit about the mixtape.
Yeah, sorry, but the mixtape is 10-track.
10-track, rather, sorry.
EP, sorry. So it was dropped like on Friday, last week Friday, on the 30th. So it's all about the neighborhood. So it speaks mainly on the things affecting us in the society, what we want, and for the EP, like we created something that you know that it will stand forever, like a movement, like a revolution. So the EP is all about the neighborhood. It's about us. It's about
you preach a lot about the neighborhood, about the hood.
Yeah.
Are you from the hood, or are you living life, or are you experiencing the hood life itself?
Yeah, I've been in the hood like for ages. Like, if I want to say like I would say that I'm on Fakuman, like, yeah, I'm a hood artist. I've been in the hood like since.
Yeah. Actually, he is the sister to Fatu Balle MBE, the activist, exactly.
Okay.
So you have a team they call the OTG.
Yeah.
You're wearing the shirt, all
Jesus.
Yeah, and then you have other artists that are part of the team.
Yeah.
How did you guys collaborate as a team?
Yeah. So it's just like a movement that, like we were together like since we were little. Like so we opened the gates like. If you are from Fajikunda, Abuko, Tabokoro, you must go, you can come and join. But the only thing there is the brotherhood. We are not there to act like I'm the biggest artist, like I'm the this, I'm that. So it's all about the being a brotherhood movement. So I would say that it's a great movement, and we are moving. Yeah.
And from the mixtape, you have a collab with one of a Gambian artist based in US, Drippy Dula from New York. He's doing big in New York as well.
Yeah.
How does that come about? How was it like?
Yeah, we met in the Friday prayers. Like I was praying on Fridays. I met at the mosque. He was like, yeah. After we prayed, like we were greeting each other. So he said, yeah, I heard that you are the artist here, so I listen to your songs and I see the hood freestyle. So I wanna hope we can do a song. But I told him, yeah. So we then met in the studio. I called him. He came. We played a beat and vibe with it, so we created a song there, so we dropped it.
Who are the producers that work on the project?
Yeah, I had Uche there, and Badness Record, the studio I'm working on. I have there Seka Beats, and a guy who is working with Deep right now, Deep's album with Agbes, Ziz Killer from Galcian, Senegal, yeah.
You have Big Banga.
Big Banga.
Well, I just want to know something. He said the producers. He named a line of producers.
Yeah.
Does it mean on one beat, different producers can produce it?
Yeah.
Both
of them mix. Some of them mix and masters on some of the songs as well.
No, that's news to me.
That's news to you. That is why we have the entertainment update.
Yeah, and
news.
Yeah.
But Buba, Demba Fida Fatangon. So I'm expecting the same thing.
You're gonna have the same thing.
Possible.
Yeah.
I'm challenging him. I don't know if that will be
trust
possible.
Trust me, the Fatanga is gonna be hot out there.
Okay, you shouldn't be boring.
No, it's not gonna be boring. You have Big Banga on the mixtape.
Yeah.
You have this guy again. We have YD. Yeah. You have Kumbunka, your favorite artist actually. Yeah. You have Kumbunka as well. Too, exactly. So tell us a bit. How was it like working with those artists?
Yeah, it's normal. It's normal. Like I'm just an artist like them. I've been doing great things, maybe bigger than them. So I've been in platforms like bigger than them. So I'm bigger than many artists. So I don't mean like downplaying them or something like that. It's a belief in me. So it was like smooth when you come to like YD. We were friends. He's a brother to me before music, like Kombonka. So I decided to invite like artists that you know that I have a good relationship with them, that we can work. So it was a cool thing because at the end of the day we created many hit songs in one project, and many people were added to that.
Okay,
yeah,
now
it was great.
Now I want you to give us a freestyle from the EP, and I want you to give us the freestyle Batajao, because it's a song people are really tweeting about. Yeah. I want you to give us. Is that your name? No, his name is Lyrically Upset.
Yeah.
Oh. So I want you to give us a freestyle from the EP itself.
Mane deglu len suñu joy ni ngi yu huwalu ñi ne ahi jigen dafa diis ku ko xam balu su doon sa rakadu la ne do bëgg wax bi jee ñi ne aljana sa tank mer kon no gal abusing together we can fight it if you are victim voice it out, don't try to hide it ñu ne do leen jigéen yéen jigéen ndax mooy liggéen bu use force pour sanaf su bakken ba nga teg ko si peen tambu teg ko rambe no akanu jawana logo
na energy bi xara
we love the energy bi lañ bëgg
no energy no let's go with Batajao
no
exactly dafa wara tanga fi
I wanted to preach but because I'm a self artist mun na tangal fi wa dafa nekk with foul words and stuff
okay
wow so now no
words wow they accept
no man mun na ñëw in any way man ma tanga but I don't want to use those foul words so I decided to come on dama bëgg ñëw preach like comme yo gis nga sa bopa man naka lay tangale su nekkee mënu ma leen a taxawal
wax dëgg
léegi rap song la nekk da gal abusing so su ma tàngalee fale ma fare leen
so yow gis nañ ne yaa ngi preach affaire yi jigéen I just want to know if that has any connection with your sister. Your sister is a renowned activist. So are you trying to support her agenda?
Yeah, she got her that. Like I've worked with like the TRC. I've worked with the SD voters card campaign. So it's just merely like I get that inspiration from her. Okay. So I'm playing like two parts. Here being an activist and there being an artist.
Right. So I like the way he comports himself. Yeah. I think you have a very good English language. Yeah. You know, you can do very good. All right.
And before I take leave of you, my outfit was sponsored by OT Fashion Shop. Okay. You can call him on 308-0120. You can get something like this or something more than this actually. He's located at just Bambo, the junction in.
Very soon.
Is it because you're turning up?
Because I'm turning up very soon.
Thank you so much, guys.
So he decided to give me this outfit actually. OT, thank you for the outfit. It's amazing. Yeah. It's really nice. I feel comfortable in it actually.
I love it.
And then from my end, I'm saying bye-bye to the camera.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Buba. I think that is all we have on this edition of This Morning. I can't wait for tomorrow. It's getting interesting every single day. Yeah. So looking forward to another conversation tomorrow. Like I always say, don't forget to follow us on our different social media pages. And don't also forget that you're invited to sponsor this particular program so it can be sustainable. I know you all love it too. To continue seeing this in front of you, you have to sponsor this program to get to support it to continue. Till we come your way tomorrow. Bye for now.